Hello and welcome to the Gilgo Girls. Oh.
Welcome to the 4th episode of Out of My Mind. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, okay. So this chapter, we're going to talk about doctors. Okay, so doctors, where do I start? Doctors really don't get me. Mom's a nurse, so I guess this speaks their language, but they sure don't know how to talk to me. I've seen dozens of doctors in my life who all try to analyze me and figure me out. None of them can fix me, so I usually ignore them and act like the retarded person they think I am. I pace on a blank look, focus on the wall, and pretend their questions are too hard for me to understand. It's sort of what they expect anyway. When I turned 5, it was time to think about enrolling me in school. So my mother took me to a doctor whose job it was to figure out how smart I was. She wheeled me in, locked the brakes so my wheelchair would not roll, and made sure the lap strap was fastened. When my seatbelt comes undone, and it does every once in a while, I slide out of the wheelchair like a piece of wet spaghetti. The specialist was a very large man. The bottom button on his shirt had come undone, and his stomach poked through above the belt. Gross. So then it goes on, she's talking. Okay, so she knew it was going to be a long hour. He brought out a stack of well-used, hopefully not lead-tainted wood blocks, then leaned in so close to me. I could see the pores in his face. Gross. Can you stack these in order according to size? He said loudly and slowly, as if I were hard of hearing and really stupid. But who was being stupid? Didn't he know I couldn't grab the blocks? Of course, I knew which blocks were bigger than the other, but I couldn't stack them if he paid me money. So I just took my arm and swept them all to the floor. They fell with a wooden clatter. I tried not to laugh as he picked them up. He breathed really hard as he reached for them. Next, he held up a glossy 8x10 cards with different colors painted on each one. Tell me, when you see the color blue, Melody, he said in that voice that told me he thought this was all a waste of time. When the blue card showed up, I pointed to it and made a noise. Marvelous, tremendous, stupendous, he shouted. He praised me like I had just passed the test to get into college. If I could have rolled my eyes, I would have. Then he showed me a green, so I kicked and made a noise, but my mouth can't make the G sound. The doctor looked disappointed. He scribbled something on his clipboard, pulled out another stack of cards, and then loudly, I'm going to ask you some questions now, Melody. These might be hard, but do your best, okay? I just looked at him and waited while he placed the first set of cards in front of me. Number 1. Which one of these is not like the others? Did he get this stuff from Sesame Street? He showed me pictures of a tomato, a cherry, a round red balloon, and a banana. I know he was probably looking for the balloon as the answer, but that just seemed too easy, so I pointed to the banana because the first 3 were round and red, and the banana was not. Dr. Hewley sighed and scribbled more notes. Number 2, he said. He showed me 4 cards. This time there were pictures of a cow, a whale, a camel, and an elephant. Which animal gives birth to a calf? Now, I watch Animal Planet all the time. I know for a fact that all the animals he had pictured there had babies called a calf. I thought doctors were supposed to be smart. What to do? I hit each picture slowly and carefully, then did it once more just to make sure he understood. I don't think he did. I heard him mumble cow as he wrote more notes. It was clear he was giving up on me. I noticed a copy of Goodnight Noon on the bookshelf. I think it was written in Spanish. It was called Buenas noches, Luna. That would have been fun to look at, but I had no way of telling him I'd like to see that book. After watching Sesame Street and Dora the Explorer a million times and sitting for hours watching the Spanish channels, I could understand quite a bit of Spanish if it was spoken slowly enough, and at least enough words to read the title of that book. He never thought to ask me about that, of course. I knew the words and the melodies of hundreds of songs, a symphony exploding inside my head with no one to hear it but me, but he never asked me about music. I knew all the colors and shapes and animals that children my age were supposed to, plus lots more. In my head, I could count to 1,000 forward and backwards. I could identify hundreds of words on sight, but all of that was stuck inside. And even though he had been to college for like a million years, he would never be smart enough to see inside of me. So I put on my handicapped face and took my mind back to last summer when Mom and I went to the zoo. I really like the elephants, but talk about stink. Actually, Dr. Hewley sort of reminded me of one of them. My mom
Yeah,
and the doctor...
That part's funny.
Funny. My mom and the doctor had no idea why I was smiling as we rolled into the waiting room while he wrote his evaluation of me. It didn't take long, and this is where it gets me.
Yeah, it makes me angry.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? You got to come back tomorrow night to listen to it because we need a commercial break. I don't want to go over a certain amount of time. I want to capture everybody's attention on these because it is so important. So we're going to pull a TV. See you tomorrow night, and then you can see and hear about the doctor's evaluation.
And what happens.
Bye.